All right, really excited about this one. This is DEHONG 2009. The thing that I like about these DEHONGs, but the thing I don't like about them is that they are supposedly wild tea trees. And so people in the area go out and they pick these wild tea trees. So there is no like specific estate or farm or anything like that. Everything just says DEHONG. It's the area, and then YEHONG means wild tree. So, yeah. So literally all the samples that I have just say DEHONG YEHONG. This one though is from a different supplier, different retailer, Yunnan Craft. Got a really cool guy warm from them too. I don't have it in front of me right now, but anyway, the tea when dried looks very similar. It's loose leaf, by the way. So loose leaf tea looks very similar to black tea, and even the smell of it is so sweet. I was certain that it was black tea. Now this is the cold brew, and based on the color of this thing, and you can see the green leaves there, it is definitely not black tea. But man, I have not smelled a puer like this in a very long time. I mean, it is super, super sweet. So let's get right into it. Ah, my glass. All right. Trying to keep some of those leaves out of the liquor. So very clean, like no activity at all on the cold brew. The color is very yellowish, actually. Usually I tend towards like, apple juice or apple cider or something like that. But this one is very yellow to me. Really excited about trying this. I got about I think 4 different samples from Yunnan Craft, and was so excited I opened up most of them and smelled them, and so this one just was excited. Okay, listen, very similar to something like an Oriental Beauty. As far as the sweetness goes, it's really sort of floral, not like any particular fruit or anything. It's a little chalky. I mean, it's really hard to believe that this is a 2009, and and from DeHong, just because I've never seen anything like it before. The other cool thing about this tea is that they have a few little tea flowers. I probably can't see it, but yeah, a couple tea flowers in here. But yeah, loose leaf. Again, the leaf is very, very dark. If this was a cake, probably wouldn't be as surprised by the look of it. But when you see it in loose form like this, it's hard to imagine that it's not a black tea or maybe even some sort of oolong. It's definitely sweet like an oolong. Or like I said, that Oriental Beauty. It's really what I'm getting off of this thing. Not anything. Well, maybe if I try really hard in the aftertaste, there's a bit of the typical DeHong kind of green flavor, but no bitterness at all. And so I don't know. I'll tell you right now, this is definitely not going to make it on my list of teas to buy. I did receive 25 grams, so I'm going to definitely keep this. I don't think I'm even gonna drink through the rest of this right now. I think I'm just gonna hold on to it for the time being because, you know, like I said, this to me is very reminiscent of an Oriental Beauty, and that's not what I'm going for a puer. Yeah, the dry leaf again, very sweet. A little bit of cocoa notes in there. I'm gonna rinse this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. And as always, I'm gonna do really, really hot water and then come back and lower the temperature. See what the difference is. So again, it's the kind of cocoa notes. I keep sniffing because there's a little something else in there. I'm not sure what it is, but primarily, like I said, it's just cocoa. But you know, smells decent and it tastes good. You know, like I said, it's very reminiscent of an Oriental Beauty for sure. I can imagine maybe even like cooking this really hard and putting some milk and see what happens. Definitely not going to do that tonight, but it's definitely one of those teas that I think you can do that. All right, so that was a decent steeping time, maybe about 15 seconds or something like that. The green is starting to come out just a bit, but still really dark. Yeah, listen, it's you know, it's been said before, you know, in the world of tea, you know, markings and labelings and stuff like that are not always the best, and some things you just can't believe, you know. Um, this one is hard to believe, and it's my first time buying from this supplier, so honestly, I don't know what their reputation is as far as tea goes. But, you know, hey, I can believe it. It's very possible, you know. It's DEHONG tea that was maybe processed in such a way that it comes out like an Oriental Beauty. I mean, at the end of the day, tea is tea, right? But really pretty green leaves. And in my memory, Oriental Beauty does not turn that green that fast. Usually it stays darker. All right, so this is the hot brew. This one, yeah, so sort of an apple cider, apple vinegar color. Again, very clean brew. Hardly any activity at all in the cup. Wow. Okay, well, there you go. That solves that riddle. The hot brew is nothing even close to an Oriental Beauty. Now I have that SHENG grassiness coming out. There's a little bit of well, I'm gonna say bite because it's not bitter at all. But just that, again, the typical, kind of harsh green grassiness of a puer, but without any of the bitterness because of the age. And so that makes this really an interesting tea. Now, based on the smell, based on the cold brew, I know for a fact now that bringing down the water temperature is going to make all the difference for this tea. So I'm going to do that now. Going to see if I can get this to about 130. With such hot water, you always think that, like, it's gonna get to 130 really fast, but it doesn't. Let's see. See, 127. I'm gonna get it just a bit warmer than that because the tea isn't bad with hot water. Matter of fact, I really appreciate that that grassiness in a sheng, because for me personally, when I think about what I'm in the mood for, as far as tea goes, when I want something sort of strong, something with a little bit of a bite, I definitely go to a puer. This one isn't bad, and I think even with really hot water, it could stand to have been brewed a bit longer. But I'm gonna try now with cooler water, and I'm gonna brew this one much longer than I did before. I'm gonna give it a good 30 seconds, because I think the hot water was at 15. So again, really pretty green leaves. The picking on this is really nice, actually. I don't see a lot of broken leaves in the bottom of this thing. So really high quality tea. And the fact that it's been stored loose for so long, I think says a lot about how this thing was really taken care of, and even the quality at the outset. All right. So 30 seconds, 130 degree water. And I have a feeling that even 30 seconds wasn't long enough. Oh, man. Okay, now the aroma has changed. Now it is very close to raisins. Very close to raisins. And that is that sweet note that I was getting that was behind the cocoa, I think. Because I definitely smell something other than just cocoa. I just couldn't really put my finger on it. So very light brew. I mean, like I said, I may have to hit this a bit longer. Yeah. So far, this one is sort of falling flat on me. I'm going to brew this as long as my patience will allow, and just see what I can get out of this thing. Because I want more from it, right? It's not horrible. You really have to search for taste. You really have to try to get the flavor. So muted for sure, but still sweet. The kind of green grassiness is really pretty much gone away now. It's kind of there in the back end. And so with this tea, that's what's going on. Like high temperature water brings out that green grassiness, which is typical. And then lower temps bring out more of the sweetness, and even on the nose, it does the same thing, which is interesting. So as of right now, I mean, I'm going to withhold judgment until I finish this third infusion, but it's a decent tea. It's interesting, I think, just because of the fact that it's loose leaf. It does have such a wonderful smell. But as far as the taste goes, it's very easy drinking, you know. I think the cold brew, I think, is really interesting because good luck convincing someone that it's a puer, you know. And it tastes really good. So first time tea drinkers will love the cold brew. The hot brew, however, is weak. Like I said, I'm gonna really see what more I can get out of this thing by letting it really soak in this water here. But yeah, if it's still like kind of flat, then I'm gonna go back to boiling water and just see what happens if I try to overbrew it. You know, it's very possible that I may get a surprise, you know. All right. Again, as long as my patience can take it, right? I think that's about as long as my patience is going to allow. And I'm agitating the water. It's like, come on, tea, come on. Give me something. Still a very light color. Oh, it smells so good. Man, yeah, so it's more like green grapes more than raisins. Definitely like a ripened green grape. Smells so good. Again, it's sweet. The flavor is muted though. You know, it's just not a lot there. It's very close to drinking water. I mean, it's very light. Um, if you want to find a flavor, you can for sure. I mean, it tastes like something for sure, but it just ain't. You know, it's not a lot of something. It's very very watery. All right, so I'm gonna do this one last go round. Let's see, this water is 170. So not boiling, but definitely hot. And let's just see if I try to overbrew it. See what happens. It's kind of got me curious, like where on the scale 170 is as far as temperature goes. Have water there. I can't put it there. Pretty green leaves. Also, too, while I'm at it, I want to give a shout out to those DEHONG mini bricks. Good. I've been really enjoying drinking through that tea. It gives me the same feeling and experience that I had when I first had a DEHONG, which is, I don't know if it's because I like it so much or there's something about the tea that makes me like want to keep drinking it or something. I don't know, but like I'm just drinking infusion after infusion after infusion. And then it's only when you get to like infusion number like 6 or 7 that you're like, oh, it's wearing out. you know. You're thinking, I don't know if I like this tea, and then you realize, oh, well, wait a minute, it's because I've been drinking so much of it, you know. Um, so yeah, it's really good. All right, so I mean that was as long as I could stand it, you know. Yeah. So again, really hot water changes even the aroma of the leaves, which is interesting. I don't know if I've experienced that before. Some of the cocoa is coming out, but that green grape is still in the background, and I only know that it's green grape because you know the experience I had prior to this infusion. If I hadn't smelled anything before, then I would have just said, "Oh, it's kind of cocoa. It's kind of wearing out though." But yeah, definitely cocoa. Yeah, that green grape is definitely in the background. All right. So again, very clean brew. I mean, no activity at all. You know, um, but for hot water like that, for as long as I steeped it for, it's very light. Yep, same results with hot water. The green grassiness comes out, but again, muted. You know, it's not like a like not. It's not a whiskey bite. You know, there's definitely no bitterness whatsoever, um, and it's just flat. You know, so definitely not my favorite. But I kind of guess I knew that going in, um, based on the the cold brew. Even though the cold brew is really good, I mean, it's really good. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drink through this for sure, and then I'm gonna keep the rest of this in my stash. And when I am wanting something for the heck of it, or maybe if I'm giving tea away or making tea for someone else, then I will cold brew this tea because the cold brew is really good. It tastes just like Oriental Beauty. All right, that's it for me to you. I holla.